Alright, I got a decent stack in front of me, as you can see. Let's get into this haul video. I didn't expect to be making one so soon because I didn't really have any pre-orders, but I ended up getting a lot this week. One of these I actually meant to throw into a haul video a couple weeks back. I just forgot because it just got thrown in with my records. And one thing I need to work on with my records is figuring out where to put them and actually spend more time listening to them, because it's kind of worthless to buy things if you're not listening to them, right? I know a lot of people buy them for just to have because they're cool and they love them, but I am not one of those people. I want to listen to this. So I got these Spice Girls. This is their first album. Got this on clearance a couple weeks. I guess might have been almost a month back now. At Target for $7. And I went back 2 weeks later today. Because the reason I go into this Target, I'm never in this area unless I'm over at the mall theater, which is right nearby, because they're the only one that has IMAX. Also, they tend to get a lot of movies that my theater doesn't always play. And yeah, last time I was there, they had the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, and sorry, I forgot. I have one more thing in my bag back here, and let me pull that out. Anyways, and they had that, and Isaac Hayes' Greatest Hits, and I passed on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack to get the Spice Girls album because I only had enough cash to get that, and I didn't really have any extra money at the time, and I really regret it because I went back and it wasn't there. But however, Isaac Hayes' Greatest Hits was like $12 last time I was there, and it was there for $7 this time. So if you don't know Isaac Hayes, he's a blues singer, and you know, a lot of younger people probably watching this video do not know Isaac Hayes, but as soon as I tell them this, they'll be like, oh, that guy. He was Chef from South Park, but, you know, before that, he was a really great blues singer. I mean, some of the tracks on here, the theme from Shaft, which is, of course, the original Shaft, The Look of Love, Never Can Say Goodbye, theme from Men, Walk On By the Time I Get to Phoenix, Joy Part 1, Do Your Thing, I Stand Accused, wonderful. Just so many great ones here. And then you got this nice Target exclusive version of this, which is like a whole thing there. So these are just really cool to have for $7. Could not pass up Isaac Hayes' Greatest Hits. You know, very cool to have that. So love me some Isaac Hayes. Had to get that. And then now let's get into this right here, and then we'll get into the comics and then the movies. Grabbed this while I was at Target, the old school Hot Wheel car. So if you don't know, I do collect Hot Wheels from time to time. And sorry, I was trying to see and make sure I don't have this one with my other Hot Wheels. I'm pretty dead sure I don't. I just go over and I don't. I'm all on the wall in another room. Yeah, if you don't know, I do collect Hot Wheels. I don't show them off a lot because there's nothing to say about them, but I do have these collection of these, and the ones I collect are these ones they call the premium pop culture line, which are essentially like cars from famous movies. So this is the movie Old School with Will Ferrell. Picked that up, thought that was really cool. I haven't seen that movie in a while. I think it's out of print on Blu-ray, so Paramount owns that. Maybe a 4K soon. We'll see. But whatever happens with that movie, I'll get it at some point. TMNT Journey, issue number 1. Grabbed that this week. I also grabbed Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, issue number 2. Almost said Crypto, and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Let me reread that. But yeah, so excited to have that. Love Crypto. Actually, just rewatched Superman yesterday for a 5th time. Yes, a 5th time. You are hearing me correct there. Ninja Turtles, issue number 9. And Superman Unlimited, issue number 4. And Toxic Avenger teaming up with Acid Camp? Yeah, Acid Camp. Cannot wait for that new Toxic Avenger movie. I feel like I say that every time I get one of these Toxic Avenger issues, but that should show you how excited I am for that movie, which actually comes out this Friday at the time we're recording this video. So, yeah, cool stuff. Glad to have that. And then these two are really So yeah, that's all the comics I grabbed this week. But these three right here, I'm so excited to have. So I grabbed 2010, The Year We Made Contact. I found this at a pawn shop. I don't usually buy anything from them, but they had this. The case was damaged, and they had a couple empty cases. And so I said, hey, will you let me trade the case for this one? I just give you the broken one. And they're like, sure. So he gave it to me for $3. And I think that's the right price for this, because this movie is probably going to go out of print. Might get pricey. It's a very forgettable movie. And I do want to have it and kind of revisit it, because I don't know, I'm curious about this movie. I've rewatched 2001 many times, and I don't remember anything about this movie. This is, of course, the sequel to 2001 that is not very good, but I'm curious, will time change my feelings about that one? So for $3, that is the right price. Don't ever see that one get an upgrade to 4K, but maybe it will. And if it does, I might actually grab that, because this is a very, very old Blu-ray. When did this come out? 2009 or 10, something like that. Yeah, 2009 or 10. Yeah, somewhere in there. Very, very old Blu-ray. So, speaking of old Blu-rays, Free Willy on Blu-ray. This one is an interesting story with this. So, if you don't know, Free Willy was a movie in the 90s that was really popular. It didn't do great in theaters, but it did okay in theaters. But then it hit home video. It was a major staple of the 90s. So much so they got like 4 direct-to-video sequels. So, of course, eventually put this one on Blu-ray. This one by Warner Brothers. And then it went out of print for years. And it was selling for $100. I'd never known that, just because, I didn't really ever care to own Free Willy, because I've never seen the movie. And there wasn't really a reason for that. It's just I was born in the early 2000s. Free Willy was kind of out of the conversation by then. It was like, when did Free Willy come out? Does it say here? 1993. So, almost, about 10 years before I was born. So it kind of wasn't on my mindset growing up, So, I never saw the movie. And, Warner Brothers has been reprinting some old Blu-rays, including the Looney Tunes Platinum Collection Volume 1 and 2, which I need to buy. Still not got on my list, though. But I bought the 4-movie Free Willy set because it was like $8 on Amazon. And I need to get the first one on Blu-ray. And, they reprinted it. So for $20, I picked that up off of Amazon. I don't really get Warner Brothers' thing here, though. Like, if you're going to reprint it on Blu-ray, just do a 4K at that point. But at the same time, it being back in print is good for everybody, and it's better than nothing, right? I think collectors get greedy with that 4K talk. They're like, well, why no 4K? And it's like, well, do you want nothing? Because sometimes nothing is what you'll get if you keep demanding 4K, because 4K isn't always possible. I also wonder if that's starting to affect the studios. I'm starting to wonder if studios are afraid to put things out because they're going, well, we don't have the elements to put it on 4K, but the audience, all they fucking want is 4K, so let's just not put stuff out, and I just hope that isn't the case. Anyways, last thing I got here, this is an out-of-print DVD from Shout Factory, The Goody Family. So, this is, if you don't know what this show is, a series created by Mike Judge. I forget by who else, but, it's a show created by Mike Judge. And essentially, this was his take on what he did with King of the Hill, but in the opposite direction. So where King of the Hill was more right-leaning and kind of tackling some of those political issues, this show is more left-leaning and tackling those political issues. And it wasn't very good. Didn't last very long. It lasted like 1 season. How many episodes are here? Does it say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So about 15 episodes. That's not bad. He got it in here on 2 discs. And yeah, it just did not last very long. And even with this being out of print, this is like $10 on Amazon right now via Amazon reseller. $10 for a whole series that's out of print, right? And that should tell you what you need to know about some of these things. It's not a bad show from what I remember. I haven't seen this in a while. But with the new King of the Hill revival, I kind of wanted to revisit it and kind of see if it changes a little bit. I think it definitely does. Even this little thing here on the cover here, it says, "We support our troops and their opponents." It's kind of diving into hypocrisy of the left and some kind of ideas there. I mean, that's clearly what that's going for, right? But some of that hypocrisy isn't really what they say it is anymore. Things have changed a lot in the last... When this show come out, does it say? This DVD came out 2013, but this show came out before that. I don't know. But the point is, this show was kind of an interesting show that tried to tackle things that clearly was not equipped to tackle with very well, which is crazy because Mike Judge is amazing at his social satire, and this was the one time he kind of goofed up. So we'll see what happens when I revisit that.